I have a little information for you about color. This is probably my favorite element of all of them. I've worked with color for a long time, and I have some examples for you at the end of this presentation. The thing I'm talking about here is when I talk about creating a brown, there's some information that we're going to talk about how to use a thing called complementary harmonies. Those are like colors those are colors that are opposite on the color wheel. So if you mix, say, an orange and a blue together, you're going to get a shade of brown. So what you're seeing here in this beautiful moving shifting, changing color, beautiful. You see yellows and oranges, some reds, and then you see a brown, and that brown is coming from mixing your two colors together. So that's something we're going to be doing, is a lot of color mixing. I want to show you next the color wheel. So the best way to study color is to take a look at the color wheel. You can find zillions of these on the internet. This is one of the better ones, I think, because it shows your pure hue, which is the outside ring, the tint, where you add white. There's a second ring. Third is gray, a tone called a tonal gray, or it's a tonal color. And then the last one is shade, so where you've added a small percentage of black to the color and you mix it to get that darker value. So when you're drawing, say when you do something like a flower, you're going to have darker, you may have all of those in one color. You may take the pure orange, and then by adding your tint, tone, and shade to that color, you'll be able to create volume. The primary colors, secondary and tertiary colors, we learned as kids, but I'm amazed and not amazed. I understand why some people haven't had an art education in school, which is a tragedy. But we're doing it now, so that's the good news. And the primary is your yellow, red, and blue. Secondary colors on the color wheel are orange, violet, orange, violet, and green. You need to correct me if I'm wrong. And then the third one is your tertiary colors, which is your yellow, orange, or it would be your red, orange, and that goes all the way around the color wheel. Those tertiaries are the colors in between your primaries and secondaries. Then you have your harmonies, and the harmonies, and we'll look at those, your analogous, your monochromatic, and complementary harmony. And these are all used by designers in the industry, whether it's fashion, whether it's designing a McDonald's. They use really bright reds and yellows to kind of get you in there and get you out real quick. They're not necessarily soothing colors, so that's not what they want. You might stay around too long, and their mass, their money is made through mass, not small crowds. So the best way to study color, I think, is to look at the world of flowers. They're amazing. You can go other places, but there's an entire universe here. When you begin to look at bluebonnets and roses and daisies and violet, it's incredible blues and oranges and pinks, and it's all there. So it's a great place to stop, take a break, look at color, smell the roses. So my student, one of my students did a drawing, and the thematic drawing, kind of combining two objects together, and she explored color. She loves color. She enjoyed it. But you can notice your tint, tone, and shades. It's happening right there in the red and the blue. You've got your pale blue and a mid-tone blue, and you've got a dark shade to create the shadow. Your dark colors recede, your cool colors recede, your warm colors come forward, your dark colors in your warm colors will recede. This is a student drawing that was actually made last semester and during the pandemic. And she finished it up. It was a drawing, started the first half of the semester and was finished the second half. This one has using arbitrary color. Arbitrary color means that you choose and create your color combination. It's not what you actually see, but it's an invention of what you want to create a mood or a feeling. And so she came in with the pink skeleton and beautiful, cool colors to recede in space. Your reds and pinks and come forward. And she did quite a bit of color mixing in this assignment. Here's another student drawing. And this is actually a close-up of bottles. They're transparent glass, and so they reflected all kinds of lights and distortions. And you know, without me saying these are bottles, you probably would not have recognized them. But they really captured, and this is done with pastel, that they are doing a color match assignment, which is taking what you call localized color and matching what you actually see. So this is a possibility when you start to get into color and thematic color. What exactly are you going to be drawing? Color glass is pretty tough, but it's pretty wonderful to work with. You get lots of values within each color. This is a painting. I've been showing you lots of bright, intense color. This is a painting where there's been a lot of neutralization, where the colors have been toned down. So you have browns and grays, tinted whites and blues. Green is a neutral color. It can go either way. But I would say it's a much more somber, very limited palette. It's one of my favorites. So it's an option if you want something that's, you know, a little more toned. You don't have to go with a bright, intense color. You can neutralize your colors and have more of a grayish tone to the overall palette. So I wanted to present one of, I think I have two paintings here that I wanted to share with you. And this one's called Winter's Song. And it is very much, I would call a cool palette. Pinks and blues, pastels in the background, more intense, bold contrast coming up in the foreground. And these are actually leaves and branches and leftover leaves at the end of winter on a crepe myrtle bush. And this one is called Fall Harvest, and these are warm colors, warm kind of burnt oranges and browns and very light tan colors. And I pulled this one to show just as much as I could get the opposite on the color wheel from the last one that was a very cool palette. This one reads as a very warm palette. And you're noticing too, when I taught Winter Song and Fall Harvest, that I really am making references, metaphoric references to nature, poetic references to nature. My interest and has always been looking at nature. My forms have always been organic. They still are.